When I think of natural beauty in Ireland, I think of the Castlewellan Gardens. I'm sure you do too. The mesmerising trees, the gorgeous flowers and the stunning architecture really bring this place to life. Lots of people don't know about the history of this fabulous garden and arboretum, which was established by the Annesley family in the 18th century. One local man is very well versed in the story of the Annesleys and their contribution to Castlewellan. Robert Trotter is a local historian and keen gardener who has written a book documenting the Annesleys' contribution to the Castlewellan area. Robert's family association with the Annesleys goes back generations.
Well, I always had an interest in the local history, and I became aware very quickly that there wasn't a comprehensive history of the estate. There were snippets here and there, maybe about particular members of the Annesley family. There was also two of the Annesleys back, one in the 1930s and the one in the 1960s, who had wrote an autobiography. But things like that are not available to the public. To preserve its history and for others to appreciate the history in the future is good for schools, good for everybody, so it is. And there's a lot of interest in local history. So there's a small group who started originally to gather history, partly to try and get grants and things like that for the repair of the gardens. So they took it so far, and then they did their bit, but I kept going. So I eventually realised that I probably could create a book here in the long run, and thankfully I did achieve that last October.
Some of my grandfather's inspiration for creating this book was his family roots that are related to the Annesleys.
Was a stonemason and gardener. So we know he was there around 1890, working for Hugh Annesley. So he would have seen the gardens in their prime. And we know he was there at least in 1890, but maybe perhaps before that as well.
His mother also worked for the Annesleys as a lady's maid.
He worked in the castle in the late 40s, early 50s, and she was a lady's maid to Mary Annesley. She was one of the best dressed ladies at the time, and that's because she shared Lady Annesley's dress size, which is quite handy. So she got her cast-offs of these designer dresses.
A volunteer group called ARC helped to start Revive the Gardens and bring it back to life.
I got involved with a volunteer group, which was probably about 15, 16 years ago. And they were called ARC for short, which was Arboretum Regeneration Castlewellan. So the ARC was formed by a group of local people who were concerned at the state the gardens were becoming. Cutbacks meant that there was less and less gardeners in the estate. Great camaraderie with all the other volunteers at the time. Now, whenever the council took over 2 years ago, the old ARC group was disestablished and a new group is now formed, and it's up and running. Mind you, the work they're doing now is tame compared to what we had at the start.
We asked Robert Trotter what he thinks are some of the Annesleys' biggest contributions to the community and area.
So, William Annesley in the 1750s, when he inherited his father's estates after his father's death, had the extra money to establish a town. So Castlewellan town is in two sections. There's the Upper Square and Lower Square, also known as Old Town and New Town. So William Annesley began by establishing Old Town. The Market House of 1764. His second son, Richard Annesley, around between 1805 and 1812, established the Lower Square. And it's an unusual town to have two market houses, so why have one when you can have two there? Certainly the Arboretum is the other big impact they would have had in the place there. But nowadays, of course, we've got this beautiful parkland as well. There's the lake, the mountains, the castle. We've all that for the general public to enjoy, and not just one family. So they've made a lot of impact since they came to this area from the 1740s onwards.